got
spot literally.
I got Nids.
I think 3 is the
I got
worst
Space
spot.
Marines.
Okay.
This is gonna be a weird match. Hopefully it doesn't turn to a turtle.
Ah, with God in it?
Well,
Possibly.
I try not to
Exxon
say
really
it anyway.
tempts with Space Marines. Like he goes, he does with Earth of Marine, but he's still like I don't know. He does try tell us. In team games he tells us, and 1v1s he rushes more.
But I've improved Space Marines quite a bit.
Weapon
very good.
servitors everywhere.
Your weapon servitors are actually slept on.
With
They're good.
Thunderfire cannon.
I mean, they're 90 a squad, so you can get 2 squads for a single TAC Marine squad. So if you get 4 of them,
Well, they cost
that's
50
just a
power
line
too.
of heavy bolters. 15.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to approach that even with melee units.
Sorry, in
Just drop
Tyrannid that's 15.
Okay, my bad.
So wait, if Topher is number 2, he can just jump the Ravener from the beginning of the game to number 3.
It's too.
I'm not saying you're gonna do it. I'm just saying, like that's how bad the map is.
I can confirm you can do that because I did that.
That's like, yeah, I think
Reaper,
this is.
I expect
I think
5-star
the game-
commentary.
You won't hear it.
That's fine.
But yeah, I'll do my best. Like legitimately.
And another reason Bootload is broken, like this map.
As soon as the batch starts, I'm gonna like alt tab and then deafen and then get rolling. I'm already recording.
Wait, what's the point? I thought you were gonna like if you were gonna deafen, then
No,
you're gonna talk to yourself.
it'll give my commentary, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh, I see. Sure.
Yeah, well, I can't. You often get very limited on commentary if you're spectating and the players can hear you because you're like, he's building that.
Thing.
Yeah, I see. That makes sense.
Someone's
Oh,
building
he's going
gens,
for
and you have to like aggressively zoom in on the player.
Right.
Somebody's
No, you gotta
building gens.
aggressively zoom in and like rotate the camera as you're doing like
Maybe
curving
add
inward.
some camera effects like shaking and stuff. Some background music.
The vignetting crawling in my skin, you know.
Put
Okay.
away.
Oh, great! I got a spawn location.
I too also have a spawn location.
Okay. Now, starting off in the first position is Demi. You know him. You maybe hate him. You maybe like him. It's Demi on the Space Marines. Now, getting over to our second player position, it is Topher on the Tyrannids. You know him as Eldar, and Eldar adjacent. Tyrannids, Eldar, Topher, called Eldar. On our third position, we have Dazza, a returning player. Not much has been seen of this man for a while, but let's hope the relic is not very dusty. Dazza, Imperial Guard.
Where do you need me? Reporting for duty, sir.
Meanwhile, we have Kazai, Ara, Aeson, dedicated Necron player
Position secure.
on your SM. Yes. So going to the match, we have a single, let's see, 1 scout squad, 1 tac scout squad. So 2 scout squad, 1 tac opener from our SM player on the right side team, or the 3-4 team. Imperial Guard conscripts getting out their capping squads early. 1 unit of guardsmen, 2 units of guardsmen. Looks like he's going for more of an infantry-focused opener. During the relic, outer points are good. Let's see, we've got servitors. What opening do we get from Demi? We've got 9 gaunts. How many here? Got 1, 2. Okay, so we got 1 scout. Scouts, like 2 scout opener. We should be seeing tax. Okay, we got 2 tax. That's standard. And we've got station pod and 2 gaunt hives. 2 gaunt hives. So he's not going for quite gaunt spam from the gens, but it looks like he's going gaunt spam from actually using his rec resource. This is something I've thought about and experimented with. It is possible.
What are your orders?
How is his acclimation recent? Not on the way. Okay. Maybe he got it earlier when we were looking around. Okay, we have our first engagement here. Spine-Gaunt's engaging conscripts or guardsmen? Guardsmen, their upgrades, auto-reinforced set. Scouts fending off the alien menace. In the background, we've got a crit capped, a little bit more favored toward the left side team. However, it is easily harassed from this side with a turret or something like the artillery. We got weapon servitors in the mix. 2 squads of Spine Gaunts. It looks like the original Spine Gaunt squad will go down. Yeah, it did look like a Spine Gaunt squad down. Now there's 2 Spine Gaunt squads down. We've got Tax pressing or pulling back from the enemy. Weapon servitors in melee doing their classic like phase out of reality a bit, making them more difficult to melee, but they actually can be meleeed. It does work. They just lose aggro a lot. Tacticals rolling in on against the Space Marines. Every Imperial Guard's worst idea ever is fighting a Space Marine in equal numbers. We got 4 gens down for Eason and KaziSM, you know that man. Got 3 gens out for Demi. Classic, a bit of an interesting layout, but this is gen boosting all of the buildings that it needs to. So it's not terrible by any means. They're actually going to get a bit of double gen boost this gen, where it's boosting this LP, Vegetation Pod, and maybe this. I would say it'd be a little bit generous if this. It probably is, though. Eco is thriving for the Tyranid player, I'd say. Let's check the ecos real quick while there's not much action going on. Well, actually, let's check on them. A little bit of back and forth. Space Marine getting finished off by a Commissar. Faith found lacking that day. Okay, heading into the mid-game here. Oh no, actually, we're still in the early game quite a bit. Calm down. Spine Gaunts going in and still chasing. A classic Tyranid thing of I will chase you to the ends of the earth and then eventually die. Or the hive mind friend. So, let's checking the ecos here. We have 11860 for the Tyranid player. For the Imperial Guard in the 3rd position, we have the 9320. Kind of hurting, but he is also getting pushed back on the map. 15650 for our Space Marine in the 4th position. This is definitely where he wants to be. However, he is floating quite a bit. Let's see what he does with that float. He's going tier 1, so he has a lot of options in tier 1. Let's see what he does with it. For the SM over here, we have Demi in the 1st position. 14649 actually. So one of his gens is slightly decayed, I believe. Quick check the ecos one more time. Those in the Jeep seats. I'd like to see what the Tyranids upgrades are right now, but all we know is that his eco is flourishing. Demi commenting in here that he's going for vehicles soon. I think that would be a great option because right now the enemy is pushing them back with the patented Guardsman spam of grenade launchers. Very effective. We do not know if it's OP or not. We are checking. Under review. Rocket launcher on Tac Squad. You know, they're 1 of 1. Close to Vanilla's 4 of 4 sort of stuff going on. Termagants to tie up the AV. We have actually several squads of Termagants out from Topher. Their pens are decent against heavy infantry, and they can chip away at the painted vehicles. So they make a solid frontline choice. This is probably why he went the double Gaunt Hive opener. No Brood Hive coming out for Topher just yet. So we won't be seeing any Warriors, Lictors, Raveners, Tunnel play of the sort. We have a single infantry command and a tactical control. That means he's dedicating more to his infantry. As we've actually seen, it's paid off for him. He's pushed back the enemy. They will start securing this territory far more finitely, or liberally, or I would say, rather than finite. We have a Gaunt drop coming in on this engagement that it seems like they want to take this fight rather than back up. Damage on the Guardsman is pretty decent. From bolter fire, though I believe these are upgraded Guardsmen. Although it looks like not from their icons here. I can see that the Gaunts have been acclimated once. This is such a vicious battle for the Guardsmen pushing into this. The narrow gap not doing them any favors. And here comes the Hellfire Dreadnought with his assault cannon and rocket pods. Grenades not doing too well against the Hormagaunts, but they are eventually going to finish that off, and that's when this battle will turn the tide, most likely, if they can get some AV for the Dreadnought. A lot of their infantry for the Tyranids is going to start dying without the Tyranid warriors support. They often find themselves lacking. Assault cannon being upgraded for weapon servitors. Let's check at basis. We got a second HQ that has just now finished for the 4th position SM, known as Kazi. The white and black Blood Angel emblemed SM, as well as we have the 412th Not Acadian Regiment. They almost seem like they have a bit of a rustic color on their army paint. We have the gray and white. Probably just a black scheme, knowing Topher. Coming from these Tyranids, and they are still not built. They've got their second HQ up. Looks like they're in tier 2. Demi looks like he's in tier 1. Well, no, I mean in tier 1. UA's old 0, 1, 4, 5. Gang coming down from the IG, they want to make sure that they're not walking into hell. After all, they just are normal men. Normal men. Termagants. Hungry Hippos, Batman, are on the docket for today for the Tyranid player. Any infiltrated units for either SM player? No. Looks like both kind of lost their scout squads and have cemented it that they are not needed. No initiates in this fight. Now the Imperial Guardsmen are being kitted out with Meltas, currently a damage versus all short-range burst weapon. We're looking to change that in the patches, but they need to serve a purpose, but not just to be the better weapon in tier 2, tier 3. Anti-tank support, providing that kind of hard AV, but not a lot of hard AV. Oh, there's a drop in the SM's base. A bunch of Hormagaunts gnawing on some generators. They managed to get the pop on the generators. 3 of them popping off. Probably because of the Landspeeder Tempest Pens are helping out a lot. No, it actually looks like the Hormagaunt damage is not doing that bad at all. More getting dropped in. Meanwhile, the front lines aren't engaging somewhat, but it looks like Demi's Space Marines are engaging against Quatra Guardsmen, and they are not having a good time. They are... oh my god, that's going to be hard to explain to your chapter master. How you lost that much GNC. Let's get the apothecaries in there to harvest all of that nonsense. Chaplain in. His faith is in his chapter, but he is not strong enough. Morale lost for the Space Marines in the first position. That will reduce their damage of their infantry, and I believe make them take more damage for a period of time of like 15 seconds after a commander's lost. Hormagaunts getting dropped in the front line, making sure that this front line is not lost. Little does the Imperial Guard know, I don't know if he's reported his ally, that his gens just got messed up. Let's check the ecos. 218, 238, 187 for 1, 176, 126 for 2, 134, 54, Matt. Oh, he's actually quite behind in power. And 218, 103. I don't know if his gens got bashed. Meanwhile, back to the action. We have Meltas absolutely taking control of all of this map space by killing all of the Termagants. The Space Marines push back. Despite his power deficit, the Guardsmen are making headway. Another Hellfire Dreadnought, most likely its predecessor getting taken out by these Meltas. The Thunderfire Cannon's not doing it any favors, as it has a soft AV of sorts. It'll take it 30 seconds to kill a vehicle, but still killing a vehicle is killing a vehicle. Enemy Hellfire Dreadnought standing stalwartly and stubbornly in this little concave here. Cover deployed, providing cover to all these guardsmen. A good investment as it takes a while to go away. It is not permanent, but it always feels like it. Hellfire exchanging fire in a educated manner, with repairs on standby so that it can freely chip away at this squad without having to lose a model, as it is a single model entity. Squad broken on the servitors, focused by the grenade launchers, and now you're going to start seeing this take a lot of damage as the Meltas get in range. Rockets coming in. That anti-tank support paying off. Thunderhawk troop transport coming in, landing on the machine cult, not the actual unit, just the animation for the build. Making more Hellfire and a whirlwind coming out. Checking on our Tyrannid Menace. Here 2 coming out. Looks about the same tier you should be getting it. It may have been delayed by the some of the Gaunt spam, but it did also harass his opponent's eco quite hard. Demi and Topher having a civil discussion of their dire states. Screamer Killer coming out, looking to reduce all the morale nearby units. Actually, a massive Screamer Killer is coming out. I'm so sorry, I almost missed this. We gotta love these guys. The T-Rex Scream from Jurassic Park, the melee, the fast movement. Looks like he is going to go further into Carnifex spam, which Tyranids tend to spam Carnifexes to some extent, just because it's like one of their only armored vehicles. It forces an option. However, he does have Meltas, not full Meltas, but he has half Meltas, half grenade launchers, providing him with the ability to respond to threats en masse in an A move situation. However, not have as much micro capability in a tactical sense. Space Marines holding back, letting the pawns go first in chess, yet not valuing their dreadnoughts as much. I mean, they are already dead in a sense. Den's getting re-established here in a forward position, oddly enough not around the main stronghold. Perhaps he doesn't want to get ganked again. Tech Marine coming out to start boosting building production. IG base, oddly enough, not being expanded. Probably going to pay for that later in the game. Something tells me he's throwing everything into army and wants to end this game now. Especially from the commanders coming out, the psychers coming out. I must say, the macro of assigning commanders and getting units kitted out with weapons has been on point for our IG player of Dazza in the 3rd position. Chat log briefly brought up. You have A, don't push. Carnifex supposedly. Yes, in the current patch of 5, this is played on 0.54. Carnifexes are mainly the anti-vehicle other than Tyrannid Warriors. Roar coming in, destroying all the morale of the IG. Hormagaunts coming in and maybe a little late, but he probably deployed them. Yep, there it is, more. And it's always got like a 1 second delay before they arrive. A lot of fanfare for the hive mind. Smoke, the noise. Carnifexes piling up on one unit. They do manage. It does seem like they're being microed actually to pile up on certain key units. Now they're being divvied up to assigned to be different squads. I like it. I like to see the micro. Demi Space Marine support working very heavily to take out any infantry that come through. Now this is where the enemy team is going to be on the back foot. These Carnifexes will take a while to die, and they did not have any hard AV options, such as like a heavy weapon las cannon team or a Devastator team with las cannons or multi-melt. So now they're getting punished for it. But just as this much has been pumped out, so too can it be countered in the same way of massing the specific counter. Skill lies in, will our current advantage push to win, or will it still push to win, but while it's gaining ground and it will slowly lose ground after the counter comes out, will it build a counter to the counter? Plus, micro and the global cooldown of the roar might come into play. Just as I say that, my Tyrannid senses tick, telling me that that roar is off cooldown, or soon to be off cooldown. As an avid Tyrannid player myself. Let's check the ecos. Oh, okay. Probably Hormagaunts coming in. Yep, 2 squads of Hormagaunts looks like. Tying up everything in a cheap and cheerful manner. Let's check real quick. 262, 173 for Demi. 183, 165 for Tyranids. 110.54 for Dazza. And 319, 171 for Kazi. The Imperial Guard playing really well, however not macroing them. I think as soon as his opponents caught up, like Demi's playing more of a macro style, which he has expressed to me. He likes more factions that he can not have to worry about his units dying in a half a second. He likes to respond to things with a very hard focused, kind of attrition-based warfare, where his units will be sturdy and he doesn't have to do micro as much to get the value out of them. His macro, his value coming from how well he manages and protects his resources. Topher, a lover of unorthodox styles, likes his intricacies in terms of he will love to kill you in any way that is not directly charging at you with one unit or a big blob. You saw that earlier with his gen push of he probably got vision there with the hive mind and immediately dropped Hormagaunts. Actually, it's probably via the Landspeeder Tempest. He probably coordinated that with Demi, knowing him. They are in voice chat, and I am in the voice chat too, but I am deafened and muted so that they cannot hear my commentary and I don't ruin the game. Stalker AA coming out, a decent anti-air, anti-infantry sort of unit, but it seems like the Space Marines are upgraded enough that they aren't getting DPS down too heavily by the Stalker AA. Good for them. Tier 3 coming out for Space Marines, which is kind of what I expected. We have tier 3 for... No tier 3 for Topher. He's actually dedicating... It makes sense because Screamer Killers, anytime you see them, they are delaying that Tyrannid tech. A mass amount of Screamer Killers, when the Tyrannids spend power, it is spending power. It is definitely a man of... That is delaying my tech earlier. Later on, they tend to float heavily because they just don't have enough units that spend power. Or upgrades, for that matter. Space Marines pushing in. Looking to put the final nail in the coffin. Will they be punished for splitting this advance? I don't believe so. Turrets laid out. Man, Kazi really didn't like that gank in his base. He built a bunch of turrets, but then he built the gens out here. Quizzical options. Quizzical options here, friends and folks of the Dawn of War Ultimate Apocalypse community. Coming at you live. The inside of a volcanic cave. Let's just hope there is no Necrons down in these depths. As these Space Marines play a United Earth Directorate kind of role as they command the Tyrannid Swarm to devour their enemies of man against their fellow Imperial man. Heretical traitors? Xenophiles? You be the judge. I believe we are closing out this game. Tech Priests throwing their grenades. Probably crack grenades. Desperately trying to finish off opponents. Little known. People do not often know that Tech Priests can throw grenades. It's very useful. Damocles coming out. Disrupting all the enemy range fire and vision. Not so much a ranged damage reduction aura anymore as just a blinding scanning unit, providing vision and getting rid of that vision for opponents. Hormagaunts and Screamer Killers seems to have won the day for Topher as he closes the game out in tier 2, going tier 3, as his opponent is already beaten, because when the going gets good, make it better. No one likes to fail a push that was really good and then lose anyway. Here's we have 2 HQs coming out into the enemy Imperial Guard base. Thunderhawks being blown up on entry. Very sad for those pilots. Probably lost 2 entire companies of Marines, or 11 Baneblades, as a certain Imperial Guard did in the Soulstorm campaign. Actually, I think it was 20 shipments of Baneblades. Well, I think this game is over. Sacred artifacts being planted in the ground. Machine Cult. Kazai saying he wants Adeptus Mechanicus in the game, clearly. He wants Adeptus Mechanicus in the mod as he places down gens. I don't know about Chapel Barracks, but Machine Cult and Sacred Artifacts conveys to me the clear intent that he wants Adeptus Mechanicus in the game. Now we've got Kazai spamming out tank traps. I didn't even know Space Marines could build tank traps. It's not something often seen. But in this game, where Thunderhawks keep landing and blowing up immediately on entry, you never know what can happen. Screamer Killers coming around the corner. They're coming around the mountain. When they come, you know it's with a T-Rex roar. And that'll close out this game. Hope you enjoyed watching. Screamer Killers are an amazing unit, well modeled. And I'm Reaper 36, signing off.